Okay, I got my microphone again. I'm going to be preaching. I don't usually preach, but I want to urge you to understand what I'm telling you right now. I'm not just giving you information. I'm urging you to accept this information. Okay, Christianity is like a big cow out standing in the field. Don't kick the cow until you understand all the good things that you can get from it. You know, think about it. What can you get from a cow? You can get milk, you can get meat, you can get moo, whatever. Anyhow, so don't kick the cow of Christianity like I used to. Figure out all the good things you can get from it. So that's phase one. Phase two, Christianity is like a big Chick-fil-A cowhide, like this, okay? The whole world is like this cowhide. You are born either in the black zone, which represents the persecution zones of the world, or you're born in the white area, which is the freedom of religion area. Is there more black area or more white area? Which is more? Which covers more, black or white?
The white area.
White area. Okay, so if you're born in the freedom of religion zone, it's like you're born in the white area. If you're born in the persecution area of the world, if you carry a Bible in your hand, they might cut your hand off. If you decide that you're going to be immersed in Jesus, they may come, beat you half to death, strip your clothes off, and burn your house down. If you're born in the persecution area of the world, your entire family and friend loop may completely reject you. Now, I'm going to tell you about a person that I want you to research. Richard Wurmbrand. That starts with a W. W-U-R-M, like worm. Wurmbrand, B-R-A-N-D. Richard Wurmbrand, start with a W. Study Richard Wurmbrand on the YouTube. Richard Wurmbrand lived in Romania. They put him in a jail cell about a mile under the ground, and he did not see the light of day for 14 years. He never saw a person. He never saw a book. He never saw light for 14 years. His wife and his children assumed that he was dead. They managed to escape to Romania. They went to America. They assumed he was dead. But when he came out, he started what is referred to as Voice of the Martyrs ministry. And one thing I learned from Voice of the Martyrs, every single year in this world, on a conservative estimate, 325,000 human beings die just because they love Jesus. Now, let me put that into context. Have you ever heard of the Vietnam War? Okay, the Vietnam War lasted for about 11 years. And across 11 years, the American service people who died, the number of people across 11 years was 75,000. 75,000 died across 11 years in the Vietnam War conflict. In 1 year, 325,000 people died just because they're in love with Jesus. And that's on a conservative estimate. Richard Wurmbrand estimates that it could be more like 500,000 a year. So be aware that this is your spiritual reality. So, if you're born in the persecution zone, guess what? It's awesome because all the fakers are cut out. Nobody wants to be baptized if they know they're going to get their brains beaten out the next day. Okay? They're not going to come by and say, "Oh, Pastor, I'd like to get baptized again on Sunday." No, There's nobody playing that kind of game in the persecution zone. Now, when they asked Richard Wurmbrand, your grandkids, would you rather them be raised in a persecution zone of the world or in a freedom of religion zone of the world? He said, this is one of the hardest questions that I've ever been asked. And he said, I have to answer you this. I would wish that they were raised in the persecution zone, because Satan's attacks are much more easy to see. You see, Satan's attack on the whole world. See this cowhide? This is all of us, right? Here's your brothers and sisters in the persecution zone, and here's you in the freedom of religion zone. Guess what? Satan is attacking with the same amount of force all of these places, but guess what? In the freedom of religion zone, guess what? His attack is sweet. His attack is in comforts. His attack will be you being excited about your favorite doctrine. I know the right way to baptize people. And you're going to be so high on the right way to baptize people that you're literally going to be not paying attention to other principles. Like you're supposed to go out with power and heal people and raise people from the dead. Or you're actually supposed to spend time in prayer during the prayer watches of the day. Or at least part of your family is. There's so many principles that Jesus taught that were in place for the first 300 years that have kind of faded out. So in the freedom of religion zone, Satan wants you to get caught up in one area of the faith and ignore like a whole bunch of different areas and keep you locked down so you're not growing spiritually. So in the freedom of religion zone, we have to fight just as hard as the people in the persecution just to stay alive spiritually. And I challenge you to understand that that little communion group where you're being honest about all your junk with one another is one of the hardest things to start and keep moving. I mean, you can have all the preaching times and all the outreach times and all the, ministry times that you love to have. But if you are not open with your hearts, with you and your wife and your kids and your friends all together, because, there's no new sin under the sun. You can't make up a new sin. It's like, did you kill somebody? Oh, well, you might get locked up, but we're going to pray for you. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you steal something? But most importantly, did the Holy Spirit ask you to do something that you're not doing? Because we want to help you get that thing done. So I want you to remember day and night, if you can see this video, you're probably living in the freedom of religion zone and you have to fight extra hard to stay spiritually alive. Now that we have the internet, a generation and a half ago, you had to go to a seminary to learn about the early Christians. You had to go to a seminary to learn, the Hebrew and Greek roots.